There is a terrifying, dead silence that hits you at 2 in the morning when the entire world is asleep. You stare at a cold screen with 0 notifications, 0 check-ins, and 0 lifelines. You look up at the ceiling and finally feel the crushing, undeniable weight of your own ambition. In that exact fraction of a second, the brutal reality sets in that absolutely no one is coming to save you. For 99% of human beings, this level of isolation is a tragedy that destroys them. For you, it is a baptism. Let's dismantle the myth, the lie you were spoon-fed since childhood, the fairy tale that if you just work hard enough, your people will rally behind you. They told you that ambition attracts a tribe. They lied. Ambition does not attract a tribe. It triggers the herd. Think about the Sunday phone call. You know the one. Your parents ask how the business is going. You try to explain your vision, but you hear the hesitation, the quiet sigh. Then comes the inevitable, suffocating question. Have you thought about getting a stable job, just for the health insurance, just for a little while, until things settle down? They wrap their doubt in a blanket of concern. They call it love. It is not love. It is a slow, paralyzing poison. They are projecting their own fear of the unknown onto your future. They are trying to pull you back into the cage, because the cage is safe. Now, look at your phone. Look at your messages. You launched the project. You built the thing you bled for. You sent the link to your closest circle, the people you drank with, the people you swore blind loyalty to. Delivered. Read. Silence. Maybe a thumbs-up emoji if you are lucky. No shares. No real support. You sit there watching the read receipts, waiting for the validation that you matter to them. Nothing. They are watching you struggle, and subconsciously, they are relieved. Why? Because your relentless ambition is a harsh mirror reflecting their own mediocrity. If you succeed, they have no more excuses for their own lazy, average lives. So they starve you of support, hoping you will give up and come back to the herd. Good. So you look outward. You abandon the inner circle and go to the networking events. You stand in a brightly lit room full of desperate strangers, holding a plastic cup of cheap wine. You force a fake smile. You hand out business cards to people who are already looking over your shoulder to see if someone more important has walked into the room. You are performing. You are begging for a crumb of belief from people who do not even believe in themselves. You compromise your dignity for the illusion of a connection. You go home, lie in bed, and feel the absolute rot of it in your stomach. You ask yourself if you are going insane. Perfect. You are waiting for applause that is never coming. You are waiting for a savior. You think if you just explain your vision one more time, they will finally understand. Stop, the cavalry is not coming. The safety net you thought you had? A safety net is also a spider web. It was designed to keep you trapped in the middle, trapped in the comfortable average. Have you noticed the shift? The exact moment you stepped out of the conventional line, the warmth vanished. This is the brutal, unspoken reality of the American dream. It is violently, aggressively lonely. And right now, you are bleeding out. You are bleeding because you are expecting loyalty from a herd that is biologically incapable of giving it to a lone wolf. You feel betrayed. You feel bitter. You feel completely empty. Let it hurt. Let it destroy the naive child inside you. We need you right here, at the absolute bottom, because you cannot build an unbreakable empire on a foundation of childhood fantasies and social expectations. Before you can conquer, you must perform brutal surgery on your own mindset. You have to take a scalpel to the part of your brain that craves a pat on the back. You must kill the herd animal inside you. You must hold a funeral for the idea of a support system. Burn it. If you build it alone, you keep 100% of the throne. The moment you stop begging for a seat at their table is the moment you start building your own castle. The pain of this isolation is not a punishment. It is the cost of entry. Now we must talk about the fuel you will use next. Let us talk about the story you tell yourself. You tell yourself that if you just had a mentor, an investor, a supportive partner, or a loyal team, you would finally take off. You view your lack of support as a handicap. You look at the people with rich parents, connected friends, and loud cheering sections, and you feel cheated. Stop. You are looking at this through the eyes of a peasant, not a king. You need a massive paradigm shift right now. You are mourning the absence of a leash. Listen closely. In the brutal mathematics of power, there is no such thing as a free gift. Every ounce of support you receive from the herd is a debt. Every favor is a contract signed in blood. Every time someone opens a door for you, they hold the key to close it. You think you want a safety net, but you fail to realize the fundamental truth of leverage. A safety net catches you when you fall, yes, but it also dictates exactly how high you are allowed to bounce. It is designed to keep you within a predetermined, comfortable perimeter. A safety net is also a spider web. Let us apply Machiavelli to your modern ambition. Machiavelli understood the dark economics of human relationships. He knew that dependency is the absolute enemy of sovereignty. Imagine you are building an empire. You are laying the foundation in the dirt. It is exhausting. Your hands are bleeding. Someone walks up to you, smiles, and hands you a single brick. They wipe the sweat from your brow. They tell you they believe in you. You feel a surge of pathetic gratitude. You take the brick. You place it in the wall. 10 years later, when the castle is finished, when the gold is flowing, when the power is consolidated, that same person will return. And they will not point to the single brick they gave you. They will point to the entire castle and say, "We built this together." If they give you one brick, they will demand ownership of the whole castle. They will use that one moment of cheap encouragement to lay claim to your empire, your time, and your decisions. They will demand equity for their emotional charity. Is that what you want? Do you really want to share your throne just for some cheap words of encouragement when you are feeling tired? Do you want to owe your sovereignty to someone who simply tossed you a life vest while you did all the drowning? No. The absence of support is not a tragedy. It is the ultimate tactical advantage. It is asymmetrical warfare. When you have no one backing you, you have no one to answer to. You have no committees to consult. You have no fragile egos to massage. You do not have to dilute your vision to make it palatable to an investor or comfortable for your family. You move in silence. You strike with absolute precision. This is the lethality of the lone architect. When you rely on the applause of the crowd, your fuel source is external. The moment they stop clapping, your engine dies. But when your fuel is your own dark energy, your own unwavering psychopathic belief in your vision, you become a self-sustaining machine. You become untouchable because there is no plug they can pull. They cannot take away what they never gave you. Look at your isolation again. Strip away the self-pity. What do you see? I will tell you what you see. You see a blank canvas with no red tape. You see a battlefield where you are the only general. You see an environment where your survival is entirely dependent on your own ruthless competence. This is not a disadvantage. This is a fortress. You have been crying because nobody invited you to their table. You should be celebrating because you are being forced to build your own. The pain you feel right now is the weakness leaving your psyche. It is the dependency dying. Let it die. Do not try to resuscitate it. Do not send another text asking for a favor. Do not attend another networking event begging for a connection. Cut the cord. You are going to build this empire with your own two bare hands in the freezing cold. And when it is done, when you stand at the pinnacle of your industry, you will look down at the herd that ignored you. You will owe them absolutely nothing. If you build it alone, you keep 100% of the throne. Now we must talk about mechanics, specifically the fuel source. The modern world is obsessed with light. They tell you to follow your passion. They tell you to protect your peace. They hand you self-help books and tell you to write in a gratitude journal. They preach toxic positivity like a religion. They want you soft. They want you harmless. They want you running on a fuel that evaporates the second the weather gets cold. Inspiration is a fragile, cheap high. It will get you out of bed on a sunny Monday morning. But what keeps you staring at the screen at 3 in the morning when your eyes are bleeding and your bank account is empty? What keeps you executing when your entire body is begging you to surrender? It is not a vision board. It is dark energy. You need to understand the alchemy of power. Right now, you are sitting there holding all this resentment. You are holding the bitterness of being ignored. You are holding the humiliation of that condescending smirk your family gave you when you explained your vision. You are looking at these emotions as if they are a disease. You think you need to heal from them. You do not need to heal. You need to weaponize them. We are going to perform surgery on your mindset. Right now, you are going to take the scalpel and cut away the part of your brain that wants to forgive and forget. Do not forgive them. Do not let it go. You are going to take every single ounce of that disrespect, and you are going to swallow it whole. You have been acting like a victim. A victim cries when the world starves them of support. A victim begs for scraps of validation. Stop. A predator does not cry when it is hungry. A predator gets sharper. A predator develops lethal focus. You are going to take the silence of your friends, the doubt of your parents, the sheer arrogance of a world that thinks you are nothing, and you are going to burn it. Burn it. They tell you that anger is toxic, that holding on to spite will destroy you. That is a brilliant lie engineered by the herd to keep the wolves docile. Hot anger is toxic. Hot anger makes you emotional, sloppy, and weak. We are not talking about hot anger. We are talking about cold, calculated, psychopathic spite. This is the dark energy of the architect. It is the quiet, humming engine of pure obsession. When the herd is sleeping, you are working, fueled by the absolute necessity to prove them wrong. You are not working for joy. You are working for vengeance. You are working to build a reality so undeniably massive that they are forced to look at it and choke on their own mediocrity. Machiavelli understood the nature of man. He knew that men are driven far more effectively by the fear of humiliation than by the abstract hope of glory. The desire to be loved will make you compromise. The desire to be feared, the desire to be utterly untouchable, will make you relentless. Think about the person who told you to be realistic. Picture their face. Picture the exact tone of their voice when they suggested you get a safe job. Good. Hold that image. Compress it. Turn it into laser-focused aggression. Every time you want to quit, every time the dopamine drops and the exhaustion hits, do not look for a motivational quote. Pull up that memory. Let the disrespect wash over you. Feel the cold rage drop into your stomach. Then put your hands back on the work. This is how you build asymmetrical lethality. You stop looking for light. You embrace the dark. You take your ego, your narcissism, your refusal to be average, and you forge it into a weapon of mass productivity. You stop caring about being understood. You start caring about being undeniable. The people who abandoned you did you the greatest favor of your life. They handed you an infinite supply of the most potent, volatile fuel on the planet, the fuel of the underestimated. They wanted you to break. Show them what happens when a monster is born in the dark. You are looking at the board and you see a massive disadvantage. You have no capital. You have no network. You have no nepotism to rely on. You look at the giants in your industry. They have millions in funding. They have entire departments dedicated to strategy. They have the ear of the market. You think you cannot compete. You think you are entirely outgunned. You are looking at the wrong war. You are trying to fight a symmetrical war against a superior force. You are trying to line up your single, exhausted soldier against their entire infantry. That is suicide. Machiavelli did not teach the weak to fight the strong on open ground. He taught asymmetrical warfare. Listen closely. The giants have resources, yes, but resources create mass. Mass creates inertia. They are heavy. They are slow. They have endless board meetings. They have public relations departments that need to approve every breath they take. They have established reputations to protect and fragile shareholders to coddle. They are absolutely terrified of making a mistake. You are a ghost. You have zero reputation to protect. You have no committee to consult. You can pivot your entire strategy at 3 in the morning without asking for a single signature. You can execute a lethal strike while they are still drafting the proposal. They have everything to lose. What does a man with nothing to lose have to fear? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That lack of fear is your greatest tactical advantage. It makes you unpredictable. It makes you dangerous. You do not attack their fortress. You poison their water supply. You find the tiny, microscopic gaps in the market that they are too bloated to notice, and you dominate them. You move with a speed and a ruthlessness that they cannot comprehend because they are completely paralyzed by their own safety nets. But to execute this, you must stop operating like a peasant begging for allies. Let us talk about loyalty. You are out there trying to build a brotherhood. You are looking for people who will ride or die with you. You want a team that believes in your vision as much as you do. You want investors who see your soul. Wake up. Human beings are biologically wired for self-preservation. Loyalty is an emotional construct. It is fragile. It fluctuates with mood, with weather, with the size of the paycheck. It is a fairy tale sold to the working class to keep them compliant. If your empire relies on the emotional loyalty of others, your empire is built on sand. The moment a better offer comes along, the moment the waters get choppy, that loyalty will evaporate. They will rationalize their betrayal before you even realize they are gone. Machiavelli laughed at the concept of blind loyalty. He knew it was a fatal vulnerability. Do not seek loyalty, seek dependence. You do not want people to stay with you because they like you. You want them to stay with you because leaving you would destroy their own interests. You must engineer your environment so that your success is inextricably linked to their survival. Find the people who have the resources you need. Do not ask them for a favor. Do not pitch them a dream. Find out exactly what they are terrified of losing. Find out exactly what they are desperately trying to gain. Position yourself as the absolute bottleneck to that outcome. Become the indispensable gear in their machine. Become the bridge they have to cross to get what they want. When you solve a problem they cannot solve themselves, they do not need to like you. They do not need to believe in your vision. They do not even need to respect you behind closed doors. They just need you to function. You lock their self-interest into your mechanism. You weaponize their selfishness. This is practical, undeniable power. You trade emotional comfort for mechanical leverage. You stop being the nice guy looking for a friend in the trenches, and you become the architect of a system where their greed directly serves your ambition. When it costs them more to betray you than to support you, you have engineered true security. A spider does not ask the fly for loyalty. The spider builds a web of overlapping interests. You are no longer waiting for a seat at the table. You own the floor they are standing on. There will come a day when the concrete is dry, the empire is functioning, the revenue is undeniable. You will step out of the shadows, and the world will be forced to look at what you built in the dark. And this is when the most predictable, pathetic phenomenon in human psychology occurs. The ghosts will return. The people who left your messages on read will suddenly find your phone number. The family members who begged you to get a safe job with health insurance will proudly tell strangers they are related to you. The networkers who looked over your shoulder for someone more important will now brag that they knew you before you became untouchable. Listen to the scripts they will run. I always knew you had it in you. We should really catch up. It has been way too long. Remember when we used to talk about these ideas back in the day? They will try to rewrite history. They will try to insert themselves into your origin story. They will want a VIP pass to the castle they actively refuse to help you build. How do you respond? The child inside you, the fragile ego that you have not quite killed yet, will want blood. You will be tempted to seek petty revenge. You will want to scream at them. You will want to pull up the receipts, list every single time they abandoned you, and rub their faces in the dirt. You will want to demand an apology. Resist that urge. Arguing with them is a validation of their existence. Demanding an apology implies that their opinion still holds power over your emotional state. That is peasant behavior. A king does not step down from his throne to argue with a villager who doubted his military campaign. You give them nothing. You look at them with absolute, freezing silence. You do not harbor loud resentment, because loud resentment requires you to care. You simply look at them the way you look at a piece of furniture. You categorize them as exactly what they are, fair-weather civilians. You must understand the nature of the herd. They did not abandon you because they are evil masterminds plotting your downfall. They abandoned you because they are biologically programmed for safety. They are terrified of risk. They only recognize value when it is already validated by the crowd. They only applaud when the rest of the stadium is standing. They are the herd. You are the architect. You build the fences they graze behind. Never expect a herd animal to understand the brutal isolation of the predator. You do not need to orchestrate a loud, theatrical revenge. Your revenge is already executing on autopilot. Your reality is the punishment. The sheer, undeniable scale of your success is the ultimate weapon of mass destruction against their ego. Every time they see your name, every time they hear about your empire, they will experience a sharp, quiet agony. They will be forced to swallow the bitter reality of their own cowardice. They have to wake up every single morning and live with the terrifying fact that they stood right next to greatness and chose to walk away because they were too weak to hold the line. They will punish themselves far more ruthlessly than you ever could. That is a psychological prison. And the beautiful part is, you do not even have to guard the gates. If they offer a resource you can use, take it. Integrate them into your machinery if it serves your bottom line. But never, under any circumstances, let them back into your psyche. You forgive nothing. You forget nothing. You simply adjust their classification in your mental database. They are not your brothers. They are not your tribe. They are a demographic. Do not get angry at sheep for acting like sheep. 99% of the people who started this video are already gone. They heard the first uncomfortable truth, and they retreated. They clicked away to find a soft, brightly lit creator who will tell them they are perfectly fine just the way they are. They went searching for cheap, empty motivation to soothe their fragile egos. They want to be told that the universe will reward their passive waiting and that their loyal tribe is just around the corner. Good. Let them leave. We do not construct empires with tourists. You are still here. You listened to the brutal, surgical reality of absolute isolation, and you did not flinch. You felt the cold steel of the truth, and you stayed to listen to the end. That tells me exactly what your psychological framework is made of. It means the herd animal inside you is bleeding out, and the architect is finally opening its eyes. You have accepted that no one is coming to save you. You have accepted that the safety net is a spider web. You have learned to harvest the dark energy. But psychological acceptance is merely the baseline. It is the foundation, not the fortress. What I have given you today is just the philosophy of isolation. It is the absolute bare minimum required to survive the winter of your ambition. But mere survival is not conquest. To conquer, to actually construct the machinery of asymmetrical warfare, you need the mechanics. You need the specific, actionable, and ruthless tactics of leverage, human manipulation, and power consolidation. And I cannot give those to you here. This platform is not built for the architects. The public algorithm is designed exclusively for the herd. It is programmed to promote safety, mass appeal, and sanitized, toxic positivity. If I shared the actual, unfiltered Machiavellian blueprints of modern dominance in public, the algorithm would bury it. The system is designed to protect the sheep from the wolves. It will not allow me to teach you how to hunt in the open square. True power is never broadcasted to the masses for free. It is whispered in closed rooms. It is strictly gate-kept. And right now, you are standing directly outside that gate. Beneath this video is a link. It is the entrance to a private syndicate, a locked room where the real architects gather. Inside, we do not share inspirational quotes. We dissect the raw mechanics of human nature. We study the exact execution of power dynamics. We sharpen the precise weapons that the public algorithm is terrified of. This is not for the fragile. It requires an entry fee, because everything of actual value in this world requires a sacrifice. The toll keeps the tourists out. It ensures that only those who are lethally serious about their sovereignty are allowed to sit at the table. The door is right in front of you, but understand the consequences before you turn the handle. Once you cross this threshold and learn how the game of power is actually played, you can never go back to the warm, ignorant comfort of the herd. You will carry the absolute, terrifying weight of your own potential. The choice is yours. Go back to being a sheep, or click the link and start building your empire.